yet. I got one more set of music, and then we're gonna do couple sets of music actually.
Sure. No problem.
But yeah. So if you're just tuning in, I'm speaking with Mike from Lazenlow here on KFAI, and if you want to play along at home, we're gonna be doing the off mic chat live on Facebook and YouTube, so you can hang out with us there. Just don't do it while you're driving. we post the videos later. You can watch them whenever you want. Just don't do that. Okay, so up next, I'm gonna have some FKA Twigs. Of course, some Kate Bush. I mean, at this point, how can you not play Kate Bush? It's all the rage. But this is some Buscabulla, one of my favorite bands out of Puerto Rico right now. They just did a collab with Bad Bunny, which is kind of a big deal. So here's Andrea here on KFAI. This is Desert Islands. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Yeah, sometimes setting up all that stuff, I forget that the mic switches.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you gotta get it off.
And I'm also trying to do my best to like react to people on Discord, but like my ADD brain like cannot handle that. All right, I'm gonna turn this down just because like Bad Bunny is probably the biggest artist in the world, and we will probably get kicked off the internet if
sure.
the algorithm hears it. It's so annoying when it does that though, because like,
is it usually just pop artists, like big like rappers and stuff?
No. I got kicked off of Instagram for doing LPF Let's Plays.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, you can't play that. That's like a different artist. I was just like, have you checked my bio? Like, it literally says I'm the guitarist of the band.
Well, are you doing?
And it's just like so like similar things happen with us at KFAI. Where they're like, hey, you can't play that, and then we have to like challenge it.
Right.
And they're like, we're actually fine. We're a radio station, and then it takes a week, and then they put it back up. But like they do take it down for a few days, and it's really annoying. And I think what it is just because like I don't know how much experience you've had again, like fighting against the algorithms.
Oh yeah, absolutely, a lot. Yeah.
But like it's at this point, it's just like it's just like corporations who are automating everything, and it's just robots flagging these things.
Right.
And then when you flag back, it's just robots communicating with you. So it's just it's like this like Escher painting of like it's kind of like dealing with the DMV at times. Like there's like you don't really. They're like, oh, you were supposed to call, and then you call. They're like, oh, you're actually supposed to make an appointment online, and then you go online, and you're like, oh, you're not eligible to make an appointment online. You have to see the nearest. It's just like so it's just dumb. But like you can get entire videos like completely muted for a few days, and it's like it just sucks because I feel like you're muting the conversation, and that like I don't know, like it's just like I think it's more of a pain in the ass for like the artists I'm interviewing than the station itself, because it's like imagine like you have a release thing and then you're like, oh yeah, we did this, and it's just like you share it and all people see is just like and you're like you can't even use it for promo, like, or you can, but like the release show already passed, and then it's just like, hey, watch this video of us talking about a thing that already happened.
Yeah, right. They've come to like it last week. Yeah.
It's like this isn't Rogan. Or whatever. Like no one's gonna. No, I don't know. Maybe I think people do. I don't know. I don't know how people watch this show. I know like some people only watch this part, and then I know there's a whole contingency of people who are like only radio. They don't mess with this YouTube, Facebook nonsense. Like they don't want it. They don't want it.
Depends on where you are, if you're working or not, probably if you're driving or something like that.
Most of the people I know who only listen to KFAI shows are like people who work in offices or restaurants where it's like that's all that's playing.
Right.
And it's just like they which is interesting because I kind of like hearing that perspective, because they only listen to like Radio K or KFAI because it's like the same schedule.
Right.
So like when they're in like, oh, I guess I'm working Wednesdays, like they know that. So that's kind of cool, but like those people never watch the videos.
Oh yeah, why would you?
It's like ever. And I get it.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I'm thinking I'm gonna do Novocaine.
Yeah, sure, perfect.
And then I still did your old list. So there's like some old FKA twigs. I was thinking of doing
Yeah, that's fine.
Is it Capri songs or Capra songs? Like, is
I
she doing the
believe
Capricorn thing, or
it's
is
a
it Capri
Capricorn
Sun?
thing and not. I always thought it was a Capri Sun thing, but I've read about it and it's a Capra song. So
That's what I thought it was Capra songs, but like I've been hearing, like, I think even Anthony Fantano called it Capri songs, and I was just like, what?
Just Capri Sun, not to get that fun out of your head, certainly.
Well, now I can't get it out of my head. Now I'm like Capri songs, yeah, like just like thinking about like the straw. But yeah, so I got stuff from Magdalene on there.
Yeah, that's
fine. Gorillas.
Yeah, I saw you play Boards of Canada earlier. I was looking at the playlist, which I'm wearing the shirt.
I got that from a tweet though, but I'm glad you tweeted that out because like I do think that is one of the most underrated albums of all time.
Oh yeah.
Like Music Has a Right to Children. Like, and it's like Boards of Canada is just one of those, like, one of the most underrated artists of all time. But like, I think in certain
circles they're perfectly rated. I think that everybody
worships them in certain circles, like they are like, you know, it's like all people listen to. Right. It's like, you know, I definitely knew some of those cats in college where it's just like all they listened to was like Aphex Twin, Boards of Canada, 9 Inch Nails. Or like some variation of people involved in those projects. It's just like, and I get it, but like there's still plenty of people who are like, what is a Boards of Canada?
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
All right, metadata. Hold on. I'm gonna try just because.
Are you in charge of Twitter as well? Do you update the Twitter at the same time?
We don't actually do the video to Twitter.
I meant like the playlist, like just the rolling playlist.
Oh, it should be. Yeah.
Or do you do that, or is that automatic?
Should be spitting that out at least.
My parents are tuning in. They just asked me which station to tune into. They're retired. There's nothing going on.
Well, I mean, they could probably pick it up depending on where they are, but like they can tune in online too.
Yeah.
It's like our signal has gotten better. I remember a few years back, you would play that game of like how far can I get KFAI, and like a few years ago, it was just like you could hit like 494 and start losing it, but it's just like we have pretty decent range now. Like on a clear day, you can get it in Northfield. Oh, wow. That's like, but that's not all the time.
Sure.
But yeah, KFAI 90.3.
And 106, I'm looking at it, 106.7, right?
I don't know. We don't do that frequency anymore.
Actually. Oh, you don't? I should. Okay. Well, then I will.
Yeah, just 90.3. I think
you got to update your my business page here, Google.
Yeah, we tried to. I think what we're doing now that was also recent. I think we're just trying to beef up our 90.3 signal, so it just carries a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And hold on, running up that hill. There we go.
So it looks like the Stone Arch Festival went really well. Looks like everybody.
Yeah. How did like I kind of had to run around a lot. So how'd it go for you?
It was great. It was by far the most little kids we've ever played for. Obviously,
nice. That is the fun thing about that festival is like. Well, also little kids dance.
No, they were having the best time, and they were in the front the whole time, and it was like having a little tiny mosh pit. It was great.
Yeah. It's like that. I think that and the fact that everyone brings their dogs is like a nice feature of Stone Arch. But yeah, that was like. Did you play the hot day? I can't remember.
It wasn't too bad. We were on Saturday.
Yeah, you were. Okay, yeah. Sunday was like. Sunday, I think Saturday, just being out and all day, and that was like the long day. I was like, I got this. But like Sunday, I feel like my brain got cooked a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
It's like just being out, like
Well, the
Because
stages
it
were
wasn't
so
just
far
being
apart.
outside. Like I was like tracking the miles
Mm-hmm.
I was walking, and I was just like, I think I was doing like 10 miles a day in that nonsense.
Well, we went to walk to the other stage. We're like, this is really far away from each other. Like they're not
Yeah.
very close to.
Yeah. Like I was like going back and forth the entire time, and there was like a few times, like I never felt faint, but there was a few times where I was just standing around and going like, I feel dumb. like it's just like you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, we'll take care of the I mean, you can just do the we'll get that later if you move the I like couldn't even finish sentences of starting a bunch of them and just like yeah, is that your it just eventually you feel like you're like ordering drunk at Denny's, like you're just gesturing like sure, we'll get the once you're there.
Yeah.
And then honestly, if you just put that, and then we'll be, and then all right, yeah, here's your drink tickets. Like I could I was mainly focused on the sunscreen, and I still got not as bad as some other people, not as bad as some of my friends on Pride weekend.
Sure.
Like they got harder this weekend. But no, it's good that it's back. I think we were worried that people weren't going to respond to it being on the east side of the river anymore.
Right.
Like, we had a few artists who were like, well, wait, I always remembered having my booth here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, because I think that project in Father Hennepin is going to be going until next year at the least.
Oh, is it that? Is the construction?
I think it just might be there now.
Was it the construction that made you get everybody move over? Is that what what project? Yeah. Okay. So,
yeah. There's something in Father Hennepin that they're just and then there's just miscellaneous stuff on that side that they're just kind of. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm excited to see what can be done next year.
Sure.
But we'll see.
we're actually getting Jillian and I are engaged. We're getting married over on a venue on that side on the northeast.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of great venues.
A lot of great venues.
I've done a lot of wedding gigs.
Mm-hmm.
I think between the gigs I have and the wedding gigs, I think I've seen like every venue in town. And there's a lot of ones people don't know about on that side of the river.
Yeah.
Like it's because they don't really do stuff. Like you have to rent it out.
Right. It's just a space when then you get
go in there. But like there's like great like old stone stuff. People don't even like get to see too often.
Right.
And are you doing it in that thing connected to the Astor?
Yeah, not that. It's above and but it's like a block over and up. It's called the River.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I forget what that's called. Like I don't know who owns that.
It's like right above the cafe. It's the what are they? It's the entertainment group. They own like some venues. They own like the
yeah.
So
I think they own a few of like those event centers.
They own. There's 3 of them that are kind of conjoined. And we're on like the smallest one because we're not not big.
Well, also like weddings are weird in this era because like you don't know if it's gonna be like, oh, everyone's coming, or it's just like why don't we keep this less than 100 people.
Well, we kind of split it up where we have the ceremony is just going to be little, and then we'll have like our friends come to and it's not for another year. And we have it's September of 23, so we got plenty of time to kind of let things settle a little bit, more from COVID and things like that. So.
Well, also, I know so many people who are doing destination weddings now, and I don't know if that's because of COVID or like everyone's having a midlife crisis. Like, it's rude. We're all gonna go, and it's like,
you're asking them to pay like how much our friendship is worth, like put a monetary value on it, like how much do you love us, like is it worth thousands of dollars, like
well I saw like you had some tweet about like the groomsmen competition, and that is it's kind of weird how like I remember getting invited to participate in my friends' wedding parties, and I had this friend, and I was just like, "You are a goddamn hero for doing this," because like after a while, she just started refusing her friends' bridesmaid invitations. She's like, "No, I'm just gonna go." And they're like, "You don't want to be a bridesmaid?" She's like, "No, no, I'm good. I'm done doing this."
Well, and you have to put your friends in like ranking order, so it's like I know you thought we were best friends, but you're on
Right,
out.
yeah. And it's like this is
the whole process is archaic.
This is the real MySpace top 8.
Right. Yeah, it really
Like,
is. Well, and you got to ask the dad, and like, you know, it's, and like Julian obviously wouldn't like care if I did or not, but it just felt wrong to not do it. And you're kind of trapped in these old kind of timey things that are really, you know, not with the times at all. And it just seems weird.
Right.
Trading a mule for your daughter.
And I have a few friends who go back and forth on that, where it's just like, should we be doing that? And it's just like, but I think at the end of the day, it's you should just know your community and kind of like, because like everything is consent. I don't know why like everyone's freaking out about consent culture. Like consent literally is buying something at the convenience store.
Right.
Like, oh, I have a thing, you have a thing, we're going to agree to exchange a thing. And it's just like, so I think it's just like, just the art of asking or whatever, as not to quote Amanda Palmer, but like there is something to that of just like, okay, yes, this tradition might be not something I believe in, but like if someone else believes in it, it can actually be kind of like a kindness of just like, hey, you know, like it's not my thing, but I know it's your thing, and I want you to be part of my thing. Mm-hmm. And like that's kind of it. We are going to go back on the air, so stand by. Yes, Kate Bush. I actually don't know the name of that song. I've only heard of it from strangers. No, I'm just kidding. Make fun of all the people who are gatekeeping Kate Bush right now, because one of the reasons I'm not gatekeeping Kate Bush is because I was one of those kids who discovered her in college. I discovered Kate Bush late as well. I discovered her in 2007. I just think it's really humorous that there's like a bunch of people who are like, who also discovered her in 2007. Just, it's like, what does that accomplish exactly?
I mean, I'd heard like Wuthering Heights and, you know, and Running Up That Hill and a couple other songs. I'd never really deep dove into her stuff. So it feels weird for me to be like, you don't get to like this.
Exactly. Because she's so vast. I mean, she's kind of like Bjork, where it's just like, she's one of those artists where like, oh yeah, I dig Bjork. And then you're like, oh yeah, what's your favorite song? The one with the, you know, the one with the album cover that goes like this. like there's just so many albums, but she has so much stuff, and it's all it's there's a lot of different soundscapes. Like she had eras.
Definitely.
But all of it is like so artful. Like it's really well produced, and sometimes it's kind of intimidating because you're like, well, where do I start with an artist like Kate Bush? Because like as someone who like kind of does weird stuff on purpose, like there is like a kind of a thing where it's just like, well, where did the artist want you to join in? Because she would evolve, and it's just like, do you start at the most accessible stuff, or do you start at the early stuff and watch the progression, or is it like a it's just hard, and especially since it's like, yeah, this wasn't our era, so why are we gatekeeping it? But yeah, let's back announce the set. FKA Twigs off of Mary Magdalene, Bad Bunny and Booskabooey at the top of that set. If you're just tuning in, I'm talking with Mike from Lazenlow. And yeah, next set, we're going to do some local music. We're also going to have some unreleased Lazenlow. And I'm just kind of priming the pump here. I will ask you about it, but just kind of dropping the breadcrumbs. But in the meantime, besides the show tonight, you're playing with us and Faith Boblet at Palmer's. What does Lazenlow have coming up? Because I feel like you are always working on stuff. Either collaborations. You've been doing a lot of stuff with Brendan Polfus, and you've been, you know, always kind of like adding new musicians and like hinting at videos. And so, is there anything you can give us away that that you're looking forward to in Lazenlow land right now?
Yeah, we first, as far as live shows, we are playing a daytime show at the Falling Knife Brewery on
cool.
July 16th, which I played that. I DJ'd last year with Brandon Polfus,
Yeah.
who's a rapper friend of ours. Last year at that event, it was a lot of fun. So we're playing there, and it's with like Muja Messiah, which I'm really excited to see live.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, he's playing right before us, and I'm like, what? Why? That's awesome.
I thought he was done doing music since Maria's doing the campaign, because that's a lot of work. But that's cool that he's back.
Yeah. So yes, we're doing that, and then we have a audio bouquet festival, which is kind of more of an EDM leaning thing, and that's I forget the town. It's just outside of the Iowa border, and then that'll be August 5th. And then we're playing. Nice. We're finally going to be making our 7th Street entry debut on August 10th, and we can finally play our song "First Avenue."
Nice. Y'all haven't played 7th Street before? That's wild. I feel like I could have sworn.
We've had a few that have like they got scheduled and then fell through because of COVID and other things. So.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good then, because I feel like there was a lot of events that kept getting postponed and kept getting this, and to the point where they're changing ticket companies.
Yeah, right.
And it's the whole thing is so frustrating, and I feel for people just attending shows, but like there's been real heartbreakers for some artists where like I've had some gigs where I'm just like, man, it really would have been nice to play. And for all you listening at home, it's not like a sporting event. Sometimes the show doesn't get rescheduled.
Right.
It just doesn't. And yeah, so support local music. Support local music, folks, because this is just kind of how it does. Let's keep going on with the playlist. If you're just tuning in, this is Desert Islands. This is the show where I make mixtapes based on my guests' 10 records they would bring to a desert island. Today I'm making one for Lazenlow, who are playing with me tonight at Palmer's, along with Faith Boblet. This is the last 200th episode residency for Desert Islands. This show hit 200 episodes, and we moved into Palmer's, and we'll see if we can stay there forever. No, I'm just kidding. But here is Gorillaz here on KFAI.
So,
all right, metadata. What's up?
I was gonna say, for kind of the wedding thing we were talking about before, we're actually having Mo get ordained, and he's gonna do the
really nice,
because we're very on the not serious end of that spectrum. So
yeah, well, I get that. I don't know how that works, because like I got ordained as well. Like I'm technically, but like, is that something like? Is it like being a notary? Like, do I have to like renew my minister dues?
I have no idea. I think you just pay the $20 fee once, and then you're just good enough to really do a wedding.
Yeah, the Universal Life Church or something. I forget which one I'm ordained in, but like I do know you have to. I think you have to register with the county or the municipality. Because I think it's like, unless it's like the boat captain thing.
Oh, really?
Like if you're just I don't know. If you're a boat captain, I feel like you have to be, you can only marry people on the boat. Or is that an old wives' tale? I don't know how.
I have no nautical marriage law.
Like, or is that a myth? Or is that just like a myth like The Simpsons made up? Where it's I'm a sea captain, I can marry people on boats. It's like, I don't know. That has to come from somewhere.
I'm going to the Google.
Maritime law. Maritime marriage.
For marriages at sea or on dry land by virtue of their maritime license alone, and no state has enacted a statute explicitly authorizing ships captains to officiate marriages. So old wives' tale.
Interesting. I wonder where that came from.
Probably like the old time where you didn't have to register online to do a wedding or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder, like, maybe it was like an actual thing once where like they were just, because like sailing is a tough life, like hats off to anyone who does it. Like people who fish, people in the Navy, people who are in shipping, like importing, exporting, like, if you are taking to the seas, I salute you, because like I don't know. I remember getting like really into the whole backstory of like the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, but that's just because like I played Duluth a lot, and I'm like fascinated by like Like, it's just, that's an abyss you stare out, and like you kind of do get the feeling that it's staring right back at you. Where
Sure.
like it's not like the ocean where you're like, oh, so like there are times where I feel like I go up to Superior and it's just like, what are you looking at? Yeah, I see you. You people come, like, what do you want? Like, but like the people who go out and like do that stuff, like that's insane. So like maybe it was like a thing where like you're dealing with rough seas or disease or something, and it's just like someone had to take care of it.
Right.
The captain's an authority. Because I could definitely foresee many situations where it's just like either one person like contracted scurvy and like they need to like actually settle a marriage for like kids or something, because
Sure.
like the whole thing is really a property exchange anyway. I don't know. Maybe it was just never a thing, and it was just used for a one-time joke on The Simpsons. But I feel like it's older than The Simpsons. It's got.
Yeah, I've heard
older.
that kind of before. It probably just is from the old times. Would be my guess.
All right, well, nuts. I'm not going to become a sea captain then. That's
what was
like,
stopping
I can marry anyone, anywhere, in any country, because I got a boat.
Yeah.
Just put the boat in the chapel. What are you going to do about it? So you're doing next year. That's the way weddings kind of used to be before this whole mess came.
Well, we didn't want to crunch everything in, and we're not going anywhere, and it's like
right.
And we just, it's fine. We're in no rush, and we just figured like let's just space it out. We can save some more money for it, and then just kind of not.
The wedding industrial complex is what I like to call it.
It's not cheap. It's not cheap, and you're paying for.
No, it's not. It's. I used to do a lot of wedding gigs, a lot of photo gigs, and the thing that opened my eyes to it is like when you start doing those wedding expo gigs.
Oh, sure.
Where you realize like it's like a whole thing. There's an entire industry of just like not just caterers, not just like the haberdashers and anyone who's like making dresses and clothing. Like there is like an entire cottage industry of like folks that like make boats and stuff. Sure. Like they make like weird accessories where it's just like those propane heaters. Like they show up and they're like, yeah, we can customize like the restaurant style heaters. Like they got that stuff. Like there's like AstroTurf manufacturers who show up at those things where it's like, yeah, we can like outfit. It's not just grass. Like we can do the whole thing in like, purple turf if you want. Like it's like, you would be surprised like how many, like all down to like the corsages, the centerpieces. Like there are folks who like have that, and it's just like a concerted effort to just rack up the prices on everything.
Just gouge away, yeah, definitely.
Like it's I don't know. I don't want to give away too many secrets, but like I felt like because I never owned my own business. I was just kind of like a freelance, like, oh sure, I know how to do that. Or like you're playing drums in a cover band, or you're filling in on bass, or like they just need, and you're like, hey, you could play a few instruments and do backup vocals, and you're like, yeah. So like I just kind of sat back and observed, but like it really felt like there was like an unspoken union between the vendors, where it's just like, are you charging less than $500? You can't charge, like, we're all gonna look like shit. You can't do that. And it's like, yeah, you're right. We're all gonna charge $750. And like, and then it seems reasonable. It seems reasonable after that, and people are like, yeah, I guess we just have to pay it. Like, I guess that's just
I think you're just describing capitalism in a nutshell, just for the record. But I think that's how most industries work, not just the wedding industry, but it's just your
Well, like, I feel like America's brand of capitalism is something else at this point. Like, it's like there's a little bit of like mafioso, like, hey, nice little whatever you got there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. Like baked in to every transaction now. Like it's like nothing seems honest. Like everything seems like there's either a hidden fee, someone's getting screwed over, someone's embezzling something off of the top. Like it's like nothing is actually on the level anymore. So it's just like everything kind of seems like a joke.
It is. That's why we're all.
It is.
We're all realizing it, but there's some of us, some of the country, but
who even knows anymore? You know, like it's like lately I just keep coming back to like old Bill Hicks and like George Carlin monologues, and it's just like you could play some of their stand up today, and it's funny because like now they seem like philosophers,
right?
Like philosophers who are like they have moments of levity, but like some of their stuff is just like you're listening to like a lecture.
Yeah, it's just
and you could play it now and it's spot on. Like Hicks's Gulf War material is like every war we've ever done.
Yeah,
it's still current. And Carlin's views on society are like they were a little harsh and dark, but it's just like now it just looks like he was way ahead of his time.
Right.
Like he just saw all this, like even in like the 70s and 80s, like before he started getting dark in the aughts. And it just kind of seems like, all right, we get it.
Yeah,
we get it. You don't care about us, and we have no power to change it.
Yay!
Like, where's the safe word?
Yeah, I just want some good. That's like, honestly, I'm just like any good news I would take right at this moment. It just feels like we're just getting typhooned with horrible news.
Yeah, at this point, like I'm going back to like the esoteric and going like, all right, you basically you got to make your own happiness, and just like it, like how do you, like I'm torn because one, I am terminally online, so like I have also been like reading all this stuff and like watching it kind of like get put together since like the Bush administration.
Right. Well, Nixon probably was the start and
worst part of it. I remember writing like folk songs back in the Bush administration where it's like this administration's fascist, and now I'm just like, no.
Yeah, that's baby fascism at that point. Yeah, this is
that's cute. Okay. Yeah, that's adorable. But yeah, now I feel it's just like one, you have a duty to be informed, but now it's just like they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do anyway. So what's the point? Like, and they're bragging about it at this point of just like, we're gonna do whatever we're gonna do anyway. So it's just like, okay, how much of this is by design? How much of this is just like a concerted effort to exhaust the populace and make them feel sad all the time?
Right.
And how much of this is like in my control, and how much is not in my control, and just focus on the stuff that you can control, because I do think the cruelty is the point.
Yeah.
And I think Idols was onto something in 2016 with that, like making that whole album Joy as an Act of Resistance. Of just like, we're pissed off all the time. Yeah, we're angry. We're an angry band, but like we are going to be joyful as an act of resistance because we know that's what you're trying. You're trying to demoralize us. You're trying to like get us to freak out. And because I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted all the time. And it's like like. I'd say, I don't know, like because I don't actually know what I'm talking about. I don't think like anyone really knows how the sausage is made except for the people who were there, because I feel like it's just a gigantic miasma of lies at this point. You don't know who's telling the truth. You don't actually know what's true anymore.
Right, and the discourse just becomes like, you believe this, but you can't believe this, but you also believe that.
The discourse is so petty.
Like, it doesn't work.
And then you have to zoom back and be like, well, wait, why is it so petty? Like, is this a divide and conquer narrative? Like, is this a thing where it's like, if we keep everyone at each other's throats, no one's going to notice that we're like stealing money from them?
That's clearly it's out in the open. It's clearly the playbook, but I don't know what I'm talking about. It's hard to.
Yeah, and it's just like, it would be fun when this video gets pulled. Start name dropping folks.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go back, but I'm gonna read a calendar. So I'm just gonna like stare at my laptop and read.
Perfect.
New from the Smile. Oh, it's a Radiohead, not Radiohead. project. And yeah, I did Johnny, Tom, and is it Ed or Phil? It's one of the O'Briens, but
Tom Skinner.
Also in that set, we heard Paramore and Gorillaz, and now we're gonna hear what is happening tonight. So we just heard Ellen Stanley. In fact, Ellen Stanley just left the studio to go play a lunchtime show at the Landmark Center. That's right, Mother Banjo is playing an afternoon gig in St. Paul. So right after this show wraps up, she's going to be taking the stage. If you are listening in St. Paul, it's a nice day. Go out and say hi to Mother Banjo. Also tonight, Lazenlow, Faith Boblet, and me at Palmer's as the last one to celebrate. I'm going to release a tape to celebrate. I think Lazenlow's got some new songs, and Faith Boblet always has some fun things up her sleeve. So come hang out with us. It's the last one. Let's keep going though. Jowl, The Sex Rays, Tragic Hands, Tiny Hairs at Uptown VFW. This is Thursday night. Also Thursday night, Space Monkey Mafia, Alien Book Club at Keg and Case Market. So you got Minneapolis, St. Paul. Friday, Dog Gam. This is their release show featuring Foe and Uncle Jesse's Comb at Palmer's Bar. Also Friday night, we have Problems and C. Costra at Palmer's Bar. So this is back to like old school Palmer's. We have an early show and we have a late night show now that summer is here. So that's just kind of cool. I just wanted to celebrate that. Also, you know, this weekend is kind of light on the entertainment. A lot of people are going out of town. So yeah, you got a doubleheader at Palmer's for you. Saturday, Little Man, The Silent Treatment, Whiskey Rock and Roll Club, also at Palmer's. And then Sunday, She Rock Stock. So this is a fundraiser for She Rock. This is a educational youth program that teaches music to young women, and it's awesome. They rip. I don't know if you've ever seen their band. They absolutely rip. And they've assembled a pretty cool lineup to help them kick off their summer season. So 7 p.m. they got Rigby, and then the Market Files, Wish Wash, Crush Scene, Trash Caddies, Zen is in, The Silent Treatment, Little Lizard, May, Loser Magnet. That's a heck of a lineup. Yeah, and it all goes to a educational and good cause. So yeah. Also that night we have Pussifer and Moody Black is going to be the opener for that segment. And yeah, I think I missed something, or you just want to hear me mispronounce your band name on the air, email it to desertislandskfai@gmail.com. I actually curate everything I say in that segment from the stuff you send me. So keep sending it to me. You can hit me up on social media, but please use the email address. That's like the thing I will definitely check before the show. I'm not trying to ignore you. It's just sometimes life gets in the way and I miss it. So email me. I will definitely see it anyway. Okay, so tonight we're playing Palmer's with Faith Boblet. And Mike, you sent me some this is like unreleased stuff, right? Like this is not even available.
So we have a record that is 97% done. I just need to finish up some of the mixing, and this isn't even, it's self-mastered, so we'll get it mastered. So this is very, very fresh. No one's heard it outside of a select few people. So but yeah, we're should be, we just need to finish that stuff up and then do all the, you know, the work around it with the artwork and videos and TikToks or whatever you do these days, and we gotta get all that stuff in line. So we're hoping for probably a late fall release with the whole album. So
this fall,
yeah, hopefully shooting for it.
So you,
wow, we'll see.
Wedding, planning an album. That's amazing. That's amazing. I that sounds awesome. Well, let's listen to it, and we'll discuss the ins and outs of it. But if you like what you hear. They're playing tonight on the West Bank, but here's new Lazenlow here on KFAI. Hold on, is it on? Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
I had to, because you sent me a download, my VLC player had to like fire up.
Oh, sure.
I was
Yeah.
like, did not work. And I was like, oh, okay. Like the whole. Okay, so wow. So you're gonna go. How late fall do you think?
Well, okay. So I'm shooting for that just to kind of give it a time frame.
Yeah.
But I mean, with videos and stuff, it'll probably be longer. You know how that
Right.
Yeah.
I'm in a weird situation too with that, because like I also like the record is done, it just needs to be mixed, but I'm in that phase where it's like phase where you're like, should I add more overdubs?
Yeah, right.
Like, it's like the stuff is done. I just need to finish it. And I was also looking at late fall, but like then when you add all the weird promo things you have to add,
Right.
it's just like I don't know. It's done, but I might do that thing where it's like, all right, I'll release it to my patrons only.
Sure.
Like release the full thing and then do a single this year.
That's more.
And then save the full record, because like the timing of everything is weird. In like the thick of the pandemic, it was Wild West. You could get away with dropping 5 albums a year,
Right.
or you're King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, and you just do that every year anyway. Like that's just your shtick. But like now, it seems like the world is trying, like I don't know. It just kind of feels like, well, I'm glad that's over. I don't think I'm glad that's over. Like, and so like they're kind of going back to the old schedule again, where like press cycles have to go 6 weeks in advance. Heck, maybe 8 to 10 weeks in advance. And now like booking venues is harder. And like booking tours is back to like, like setting up shows where like last year I was like operating on last year's timeline, and I was like hitting up all the old places I would go. And I have like had to like schedule way farther in advance.
Sure.
Like a lot of places I was just like even like the small remote markets like that I play like way out in rural, like they're getting booked far in advance. And I'm just like, whoa, okay, so the game is kind of back to pre whatever, you know, like and it's it's weird. Like you kind of have to plan ahead, and then you get in your own head of just like, is it ready?
Right.
Like, should we release an album without videos? Does that even matter anymore? And the answer to me, I don't know.
I honestly
don't know.
We're gonna try, so that we're probably gonna put like, we're gonna do the rolling waterfall singles where like you release one song and then you release the one song with a new song and you release the 2 songs with another song and then kind of do it that way. And then we're gonna focus more on, instead of having videos, we're just writing down and storyboarding just short form content ideas. So like something that would look cool for 30 seconds and do a bunch of those for each like individual single, and then just put those on the internet and not even do a full video. And because we're like, we can just do it ourselves, and that's what pushes stuff anyways. Like a music video doesn't get anything anywhere now. It's part of it, but it's better. You're better off just posting 15 seconds of it on TikTok and
it's interesting. I think a lot of this stuff you kind of have to do for the art of it. Because now people like expect it as like a promo mechanism, and it's just like, well, hold on. Not every band is gonna be suited for that.
Right.
Like y'all, like, like y'all have a popping up sensibility where I think it's almost advantageous for you to hit up the short form content.
Yeah.
Whereas like a bluegrass band,
right, you're not going to pick out a sick drop from it or whatever.
And it's just like, where it's just like I think the playbook is like, it's weird because I've noticed the shills are coming back too. Like you're getting those sponsored ads of just like millions of artists every year do not get discovered. And all you need to do is find a way. Like you get those videos, and it's like, so that stuff is coming back, and it's just like, well, I think yes, there are moves you can make that you can model after people who have mastered their craft and done it before. I will say, having played this game in various different ways, I think some of those plays work because someone is paying for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And when you have, you know, $15,000 behind a promo campaign, yeah, like it works because of course it does.
Right,
You know,
right.
someone paid for it to work.
Right.
Not that doesn't mean it can't happen organically anymore. Like we saw a lot of TikTokers blow up over it. My friends in Jury, that happened to them. They got
Yeah, right.
huge over the
Yeah.
pandemic, and that was like totally on their own. Like
Yeah.
they didn't implement some, like they didn't like meet with some like dude and like pay a thing. Like it just kind of happened. But it just kind of shows like how you really can't. There's no solution. I
No,
think
there's
you
no
kind of have
shortcut.
to.
There's no shortcut.
Yeah,
You have to
you
do
have to
keep
like
doing.
deep into your, like dig into your whole band's persona and like
Right.
actually go like, what works for us? What do we feel comfortable putting out? What do we feel, you know? Because like the constant barrage of content, I get that that's the world we live in now, but like that doesn't work for all creators,
Right.
you know, like especially people who have like kind of like a like a behind the curve type mindset, you know.
Right,
It's like
or just not the pop immediate
right,
hiccups.
yeah,
Yeah, there's certainly, and you know, I've kind of moved into, I buy a bunch of vinyl now. A, because I'm in my 30s, and B, because I just like, it's slowing me down, and just like, you know what, I'm gonna pick out of my little thing of records instead of having every single, you know,
yes,
every single piece of art ever made on my phone. Like, it's nice to be like,
yes.
I picked these albums for a reason. Let's listen to this one. Listen to the whole thing front to back. You know, it kind of slows you down.
I've been putting my phone on airplane mode when I drive,
Mm-hmm.
so I have to like only have a few albums downloaded.
That's smart. Yeah.
Like I have to like actually give this like a deep dive, because like yeah, you're right. I like collecting vinyl because one, in my 20s I just became that person.
Sure.
I was just like, oh, everything's better on vinyl. Now I'm just like, it's just a medium.
It's just yeah.
It's all the same. It's all the same. If you dig it though.
Yeah.
Like if that's your thing, like get excited about it. Like have fun with it. But the same thing with tapes. Like anytime like an artist like put out a tape, I would collect them because like
Sure.
they're cheap and like the. But when you're not at home to listen to that, it is weird. Like you put on like playlists on shuffle, and then you're sitting there going like, did I add this to the playlist?
Right.
Who curated this? And it's like it. I think it is better to just kind of like treat it like the movie listings in the 90s, where it's just like, oh, these 5 things look good, and then when they come out, download them and then like listen to them, because like there's a few projects where it's like the new Toro y Moi, I was just like, I don't know, it's just okay, and then like you drive with it a little bit and you're like, oh, this is growing on me a little bit, and then there are like projects where I thought like, I do not see the hype, I don't get why this is sharing it, and then you keep listening to it, you're like, never. Like that was Olivia Rodrigo for me. I was just like, I don't know, like this just kind of seems like I've heard it before, it's good, and then you're just like, nah, this is cool.
Right.
So like I'm
like that's Willow for me right now. I'm like, okay, I mean,
like,
no, progeny, and obviously, and like, you know, but I'm like, it kind of rips. It's just kind of got that Paramore thing. So like, whatever. You can not like stuff for that, or you can, and just everybody is, you know, there because
the Willow stuff is actually really
I really like that new song, whatever, I forget what it's called, but I really enjoy it. And I'm like, oh crap, there's me just having my optimism phase again.
I mean, I think it's I enjoy it though, because I think we're finally in an era where like genre doesn't really matter. I think
I'd rather like
I think it's a continuum.
Yeah.
Because like I am not in favor of like getting rid of like, oh, let's be a genreless thing. I think because that doesn't work for all artists either. You know, like it, you know, like that's never going to play in Nashville, and it doesn't have to. Like I do think there's a place for labels, like the curation of like, because there are people who like listen to music the way I drink wine.
Sure.
Like I don't do it all the time. I do like it,
Right.
but like I don't have the time to be like the head.
You
Where
need
it's
a
like, oh,
sommelier. You need a sommelier to
I'm in the
tell
loop.
you.
I'm in the loop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stand by.
Yep.
So we just heard local music from Faith Boblet, Nerdy featuring Brandon Pulpus, and New Lazenlow. So yeah, the Black Kid White Town documentary is this weekend at the Hook and Ladder, and you have collaborated with Brandon Pulpus, and tonight we're playing with Faith Boblet and y'all at Palmer's. So I kind of figured we'd tie everything together. So what can we expect tonight? You hinted at some live drums. You know, like I don't want to give everything away because I just want people to come and have a good time.
Sure.
But what can we expect tonight?
Yeah, so it will be the full trio. So myself, Julian vocals, and then Mo McNichols on the drums, and he's a wonderful drummer. And yeah, we are going to be we technically debuted some of these songs already at Stone Arch, but that was as a duo. So this will be the proper debut of some songs as the full trio. So we're very excited to play some stuff that no one's ever heard before. And we're First Avenue, first time as a 3-piece unit. So that's so that it'll be a lot of fun, and it's gonna be a good time for sure.
So if folks like what they heard, where can they hear it again? Because I know Novocaine, the track we played, that's unreleased, and we talked about possibly a fall release with that. And we were kind of mulling over strategies of being an independent creative in this environment, if we can call it an environment at this point. It's such an ever-changing landscape with shifting ground from underneath our feet. So, but yeah, I don't want to put the pressure on that, but you do have a new single, First Avenue, already out.
Correct.
So in this era of certain streaming services being a dirty word, is there a place you would like folks to direct themselves to hear New Lazenlow again and to get this music in their ears again?
Sure. Yeah. No, I think at this point, just wherever is going to be most convenient to find our music, you can find us at Lazenlow. That's LAZENLOW, and that's all of our social medias and stuff. It's a made up word, so we're the only thing on the internet that has that name. So you can, whatever's going to work for you, just check us out, and we appreciate anybody taking the time to listen to our stuff. So.
Perfect. I'm talking with Mike from Lazenlow here on Desert Islands, making a mixtape based on the 10 records they would bring to a desert island. I got some stuff that I thought would go well with your Desert Island picks, but we also have a few of your Desert Island picks coming up here. So let's start off with some summertime sadness. It's fitting at this point.
Yeah, it works.
I feel like I don't know, like I saw a few Gen Z kids online, and I couldn't tell if they were doing this ironically or not, of doing the Steely Dan summer. But like this might turn into a Lana Del Rey summer. Just that the goth pop vibe, the depressed pop vibes.
Well, how fast Norman Rockwell. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Norman effing Rockwell went from my favorite record of that year to me just not liking any of her output after, and just kind of her whole personality and shtick kind of ruining it for me. I still like that record, but
I go back and forth on Lana because I do think she has created a universe around her content. Like at first I didn't know what to make of it, and then she really has created an era of Americana. Like she makes you nostalgic for something that never existed.
Sure.
Which is interesting. And admittedly not all of it's for me, but there is a bunch of stuff where initially I was just kind of I'm not into Lana, and then you listen to it again, it's just oh no, Lana's got game. I actually do think I'm into Lana, right. But I kind of feel what you're saying. There does come a point where if you're not in the mood for Lana, I'm not I can't do it, because there is a weird, Yeah, I don't know how to put my finger on it. It's not
kind of
that
an artist thing too, because the same kind of thing happens with Grimes, where like I love Grimes, but then I start thinking about Grimes, and then it makes me not want to listen to Grimes anymore.
Yeah, but then then you listen to Oblivion again, and you're like, oh yeah, Grimes was like good.
Yeah.
And then I mean, at this point, I'll take Grimes over Elon.
That's fair. I'm glad she broke up with him. That's good, and seems to be pissing him off with her current partner. So that seems to be fun for me. But
yeah. Part of me thinks like Elon's becoming a Republican just because. Just because she is.
Person. Yeah, I think that's honestly a big part of it.
Like I think he's just becoming like Ralph Wiggum in that episode where like he has to play George Washington, where it's just like, oh wait, I do love it. No! Like I think he's just losing his mind. But like, here's the thing though, like you saw this in Kanye.
Yeah.
Like eventually, when people get to that level of like billionaire power, like I don't want to say you don't have friends, but do you?
Yeah.
It must be. You have people who are hyping you up all the time and going like, yeah, like it's just like you don't think like the dudes surrounding Kanye were like, don't listen to him, man, you're a genius. You are the genius. Like you don't think Elon's got those guys. It's just like the tech version of it, of just like, absolutely. No, absolutely. I think, yes, sir. We can totally, we just need to work on the analytics, but I bet we can, I bet those guys just have that. So when they go through something that they actually have to grieve, powerful men, I think they try to insulate themselves from that emotion. And when they go through something like that, it's just like, you realize like how emotionally unequipped they are to, so like I think he, because he was a rich dude, I don't think he was into politics, and I think now he's just doing it because like his ex-partner is like kind of doubling down on whatever Grimes is doing. I don't like, to me this seems like Elon is just going through a breakup. Same thing with Bezos. Like I saw a tweet where it's just like Jeff Bezos wanting to leave the planet after his divorce is probably the most relatable thing he's ever done. And not that I'm trying to get you to feel for these people.
We're not humanizing anybody.
But I think from a philosophical point, it's just like, well, let's not forget about empathy, folks, because at the end of the day, we're all going through the same hurts, even the petty, small toddlers that are actually running the world. Like
maybe they should have the lesson in empathy a little more than we should.
Right. I don't know. I don't even know what's going on. They won't. They're not going to listen to it. They're just.
I was a Kanye defender for so long, because it was, for the longest time it was like he's just being dumb, and like he's not, he's saying stupid things and being egotistical, and it was for a while just kind of that, and you could kind of pass it off. And then it just became to the point where I'm like, he's doing real damage to real people. Like,
it's kind of weird. I don't think people get that the internet has changed. There's always those corners for like the shit posting. Like that's always been a thing. But I think people have tried to mainstream shit posting.
Yeah.
Which you can't really do, because like the crux of shit posting is like you were trolling.
Yeah.
You are deliberately doing something that people will misunderstand to get them riled up. So it's just like at a certain point, like now that the internet is just daily life, like it kind of goes back to like a weird boy cried wolf scenario.
Yeah, I can see that.
Where it's just like, it's not that people don't have a sense of humor anymore. It's just like at the end of the day, like sometimes we just have to get stuff done. And like that doesn't help. No. Like it's not like, it's just annoying. It doesn't really do anything. And it does cause real harm. But I don't think I don't think he understands that. Like,
Right.
I think in his mind, he's just like, but it's just for lulz. Like, I'm
Well,
on Twitter. Ha, ha, ha.
I was in my 20s, like in college, I was the prototype of just coming from a very, privileged, insulated kind of thing where I just thought, like, it's just words. I'm just saying stuff to be offensive, to be funny. Like, it's not,
Yes.
I'm not doing
Yeah.
any actual harm. But then, learning obviously through, a decade, I was doing harm, and like, oh, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the devil's advocate because I like arguing. Like, I was one of those people. I'm really glad I've grown from that for quite a while.
Oh God, yeah. There was like well, yeah. It's kind of, I think, when you don't have boots on the ground, it's really easy to be insulated from what it does.
The internet is that. I mean, you're just being insulated.
Yeah, and it's like this weird butterfly effect thing where like everything is touching everything. And I think through these weird times, we're kind of learning that the hard way.
Yeah.
And it's a difficult pill to swallow for Westerners because like we've been brought up in this weird rugged individualism thing that doesn't actually exist.
Right. 100%.
Not that like individual autonomy doesn't exist. Like you
are
doing stuff. It totally does. Well, not anymore. It doesn't.
Not anymore. Not according to Space Wizards.
Yeah, like, but there is just like a unfortunate fact to the matter that kind of sinks this argument that it's just like no one's no one's born in a log cabin they built themselves.
Right.
It's just you can't. Everything is kind of like a fungus. Like, even though we're individual things that walk around and kind of move on our own power, it's like the bus system where it's like, oh, let's get rid of trolleys because buses can go anywhere. Yeah, but the routes are still on the trolleys.
Yeah, right. They could have just kept the trolleys 100%.
Like, it's like it's all kind of the same things. It's like, yeah, we're all free to do whatever we want, but we're all the same thing. And I think people are kind of finding this out the hard way. Because like there's a lot of good YouTubers making content on this subject where it's just like they like go talk to like reformed shit posters.
Yeah.
And like they had a similar perspective on what you were saying, where it's just like, yeah, I just did. These are just words. Like this is like literally like
that was my whole philosophy.
It's a creative output. It doesn't actually.
I hate it.
It doesn't actually mean anything. It's like, and then now we're seeing that like thoughts actually do become things.
Yeah.
And like, there are people who are like serious about this stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's the scariest part. Is like, there's a lot of people having that come to Jesus moment where it's just like, wait, you guys actually believe this bullshit?
Yeah, right. You kind of. Yeah.
That's what. No, this was. Oh fuck. Well, I'm gonna leave. It's now that everything's on fire, and but yeah, I don't know. We got one more talk break, and just do like the, and then we gotta go because we got like 3 minutes.
Yeah, perfect. That's perfect.
Grimes, kind of weird to hear that name these days, but Visions was a great record. Kilo Kish, this is a new record featuring Miguel. Has a track called Death Fantasy off of American Girl. It's a cool record. Check that out. That came out this year. And Lana Del Rey, Born to Die, Summertime Sadness. I just thought it was funny to have a set of Summertime Sadness into Oblivion into like Death Fantasy. It's just a nice little theme. But we are nearing the end of the show. Democracy Now! Is next. I want to thank Mike. Thank you for joining me on the show once again. You're playing with us at Palmer's. What, if anything, would you like the listeners to know about before we get signed off here?
Just make sure to check out some cool local artists like Lazenlow, Brandon Pulfus, who I've got an album coming out with, not probably next year. And then, just make sure to just check us out online. And that's Lazenlow. And it's Lays with a long A, not Lazenlow.
Well, to play us out, we got some Run the Jewels here. Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Thanks for having me.
We're playing a Palmer's, and this is the last time I'm plugging it because we're done after this. We are done. But next week, we got Bad Posture Club and then Sleeping Jesus after that. I'll be posting the full July lineup in July. But see you tonight at Palmer's and see you next week. Stay tuned for Democracy Now! All right. Thank you so much for doing this. This is a lot of fun. I know these things are kind of hard to schedule, especially now.
Yeah. I work from home though, so I just took this over my lunch break, so all good. Good.
Okay,
so we're bringing our full drum kit. We're planning on getting there probably like 6:30.
Lies, goddamn lies, all of them.
What, the standard disclaimer?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the drum kit should be easy.
Oh yeah.
I think
business.
I think Faith is also bringing a kit.
Oh, okay.
So
there's not a lot of room on that stage.
There's not, but it's weirdly deep. So
Yeah,
it's like
true.
kind of the thing where it's just like once you get the kit up there, it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know how you want to navigate that, just because like Faith is probably going to have their kit already staged up there, but like you can
bring breakables. Then should we just ask them?
Yeah. Why don't we message? Why don't we like set up I'll reach out to Faith and be like,
yeah, if you could, we'll just bring breakables, and then that would make and then we could just swap
and then maybe you can link up. I just don't know if their drummer has to jet.
Like, are they? What's the order? I assumed it was you, then us, then.
Faith first, and then y'all, and then Wednesdays are weird at Palmer's just because sometimes they get a late night rush, and it's just like, okay, if no one's there by the end of the night, they play a normal set. But sometimes like a late night rush comes in, and it's nice to have someone who can. Like I have about I could play a 3-hour set.
Right.
So
it's kind of set, and that's hard.
Yeah, it kind of seems convenient where it's just like, all right, if the crowd's petering out by like the time we get on, sure. But like if there's a drinking crowd that comes in for the late night, at the end of the day, that's just kind of how they do their business. So like we'll extend it a little bit. But it's gonna be a good night. Yeah, let's reach out to Faith and do breakables. I'm gonna sign off here.
Okay.
And then try to, because I still gotta.
Yeah, if you just want to connect us on Twitter, that would be wonderful, and then we can just do it that way.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. All right, well, thanks for doing this, and we'll get this. Hopefully, we can do just a kit share. Yeah. That'll be like, then the kit can just sit there.
Yeah, right. That'll be much easier.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out. I'll see you tonight. And then, congrats on the new release. I'm excited.
All right, check soon.
I'm gonna press the button.